Hello my dear friends, and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to make yourself a cup of tea with snacks if you want, because today we have very interesting stories, and one of them is a story about an OP and her mother who demanded her to give all her inheritance so they could have money to raise their sixth child. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I hope you'll enjoy it. My 18 meters birthday is today, and I'm moving out within the next couple days. My mom is losing it because she won't be able to scream at me for nothing anymore. My grandpa is thankfully letting me stay with him until I can get my own place and get on my feet. I was out with my band to celebrate, and I got home in the evening at around 6. My mom didn't talk to me, and my stepdad only said hi. My stepdad asked me what was next, and I told him I was moving out. A little while ago my mom screamed at me because she wanted to move out with me, but I'm not letting her. Truth be told, I'm moving out to get away from her. I didn't know if my stepdad knew about my mom wanting to move out, so I told him about that, and he went silent, then left. Later I was watching Jurassic Park, and I heard my mom and stepdad arguing. They've argued before, but this was worse. They were full on screaming at each other. Towards the end of the movie my mom came into my room and started to scream at me for telling stepdad about her wanting to move out with me. Then she told my stepdad it doesn't even matter, he's not letting me live with him, and my stepdad said it does matter. You didn't tell me and you were going to move out and leave me in the dust. They argued more until my stepdad left the house. My mom came to my room and screamed at me for telling stepdad about her plan. She said I was disturbing the peace. Then she went outside and is now smoking. I don't want her moving in with me because she screams at me for the smallest things. An example is when she screamed at me for being a pig when I burped in the bathroom a couple days ago, and she basically wants to quit her job and live in my basement so I can support her. I actually find it a little funny that she thinks I can afford a place with a basement right now. Update. I 18 meters just moved out of my entitled parents' place. My mom made it so hard when I was moving. As of earlier today, I moved basically all my stuff and only had a few things left. My mom called one of her friends over and told her that I was moving out. The friend that came over had a kid 2 years younger than me. We went to the same school before I graduated. When I would walk home from school, more often than not, I'd hear her badmouthing my mom to the other parents. I only heard bits and pieces of my mom and her friend's conversation, but from what I heard, my mom told her friend that she gave me a place to live for 18 years, and now I was leaving without paying her back or paying rent for the time I stayed there after my 18th birthday. I turned 18 not even 3 days ago. Her friend went off on me, telling me I should be ashamed of myself and that she doesn't know how my mom got stuck with me as a kid. I wanted to say something back, but I just put my earbuds in and listened to music. A little while later, just before I was leaving, I noticed I was missing a picture of me and my band in costume. We're a Kiss tribute band. I'm Ace Frehley in the band. I looked around and saw my mom and her friend looking at it, laughing to themselves and criticizing me. I took it back and my mom said I don't know how you're still in that band. They could get a much better guitarist. I said I may not be the best guitarist, but my friends don't talk about me behind my back. Then I took the picture and left. My mom and her friend argued as I was leaving. My stepdad hasn't come home yet. I texted him and asked if he was alright, and he said he was staying at his friend's house until he processes the situation. Even though he's a major idiot and lectures me for no reason, part of me still felt a little bad. I'm at my grandpa's house now. I still have to get settled, but I'm free. I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. My grandpa even got me a new flying V for my birthday. I usually play my Les Paul, but the V looks cool. I'm happy with it. I'm happy OP managed to run away from that crazy family. But I can't get OP's mother's plan. So she's moving out from her house where her husband lives, who actually has no clue about all this. She's living with your son in his basement, but why? What a nonsense. What is going on inside her head? And I also think she and her husband will get a divorce, so she'll stay alone. I am F19, my parents' second child. I have 3 brothers, 21, 13 and 7. And a sister, 16. We grew up poor and our parents were often dependent on financial help from relatives, friends, etc. for raising us. This is because even though my dad has a mediocre job and my mom doesn't work, they just kept on popping out one kid after another. My parents are very religious and believe that children are a gift. Personally, I think that's total bullcrap. My parents' reproductive choices wouldn't bother me if it hadn't caused mine and my siblings' lives to turn to crap. Well, growing up, we never had new clothes or toys, we had to accept handouts from family members who were better off. We never went out or did anything fun. To top it off, we were well aware that the rest of the family looked down on us for constantly asking for handouts. Now, my older brother and I have managed to get into good colleges and are looking forward to a future that would be better than our parents' lives. He and I were staying at our parents' place for a while due to the COVID-19 lockdown. One morning, my parents called all 5 of us into the living room. Mom said she had great news. The smile that was forming on my face died a quick death when she said, "We're pregnant." I lost my temper. I asked them how they could be so stupid and irresponsible. Do they not have enough financial troubles already that they have to bring in another mouth to feed? My older brother tried to calm me down, but I was livid. After a lifetime of scarcity because of my parents' stupidity, they still hadn't learned their lesson. I asked them how they planned to provide for the kid. My dad told me I would have to give up the money our great uncle had left me. He had left all 5 of us some money which only we could access when we turned 18. I said, hell no. That money would help pay for my college expenses. He called me selfish for not being there for my family. I told them, if they couldn't provide for the kid, they should get an abortion. My mom started crying and called me a heartless monster. Dad told me he was disgusted with me. I told them there was no way I was going to pay for their stupidity, and the only thing I would be willing to pay for is a termination. What I was really worried about was my siblings' lives getting even worse. My older brother and I have escaped our parents' clutches, but the others, especially my younger sister, will be expected to help take care of this baby. No teenager deserves to have their adolescence ruined by diapers and a screaming baby. I know what it's like, as I had to go through that. It was expected of me to be an unpaid nanny to my younger brothers and sister. My older brother could go out with his friends and have fun, but I had to stay home and help give baths and feed the toddlers. I decided to get some family members involved so they could talk some sense into my parents. I called my mom's maternal cousin. She's one of my favorite people. When I told her that mom and dad were having another kid, she reacted with, "What? Again?" I told her everything and how they expected me to hand over my inheritance. She said she was going to speak to my parents and told me not to sign over anything. I promised her I wouldn't, of course I won't. I also called 2 of my first cousins, one of whom is an accountant, so she could explain to my parents how much of a financial liability this baby is going to be and try to convince them to either abort or give it up for adoption. I moved out of my parents' home a few days ago. I was only going to stay there till the lockdown was relaxed, but I just can't bear to listen to my mom's nagging about how this baby is a blessing and that I want to kill it. I've moved into a friend's basement for a minimal rent. My mom's cousin paid them a visit about a week ago and tried to tell them they weren't doing this child any favors by bringing it into a life of poverty. My mom was very rude to my aunt and told her that a woman who chose to remain barren will never understand a mother's love. My aunt never wanted kids nor had any, one of the reasons she's my fave. My dad told her to get out. Aunt told me there was nothing she could do, but she did try. I didn't blame her. The cousin tried to explain the economic impact this kid would have, and my mom cried about how everyone was trying to take away her baby. What the hell? The intervention didn't do crap. So now I've decided to cut contact with my parents. I just can't watch my family slide further and further into a hellhole. I'll be maintaining contact with my sister, 16, just to make sure my parents can't brainwash her. My older brother is going to stay in touch with all of them, which is a good thing as he can act as a link between me and the other siblings if my parents ever forbid them from talking to me. Otherwise, I'm done with these people. Update. Yesterday afternoon I got a call from my older brother. He told me that my mom has miscarried. This is hardly surprising as she's in her 40s. I felt a huge wave of relief wash over me. My siblings' lives would not be worsened by my parents' insistence on adding another mouth to feed on an already tight budget. My sister would not be asked to give up her inheritance so they could have money for their new baby. My brother told me my mom had been crying, and while I did feel bad for her, I was still glad to hear about the miscarriage. I feel like we all dodged a huge bullet. Bro asked me to move back in for a while to help comfort my mom. I told him I wasn't going to move in because 1. My college would reopen in a few days and I'm done with all the family drama. However, I did agree to come visit my mom, if only out of courtesy. In the evening, I went over to my parents' place. I took chocolate chip muffins for my mom, which I know she likes. My sister greeted me at the door and told me mom had been in bed all day. After greeting my dad, I went into their bedroom. Mom was sitting up on the bed. I told her I was sorry about what happened and placed the muffins on the bedside table. She looked at me angrily, then threw the muffins at me. She screamed at me that she had lost her baby because of me. She said I had caused her stress, and it's what caused her to miscarry. She said I was probably glad her baby was dead, which is true, but of course I didn't point that out. She called me a witch and said I had wished this upon her. She was screaming so loudly, all my siblings and my dad came rushing to the bedroom. She yelled at me to get out. I did. I hugged my older brother and sister. Before I left, my DD told me my mom was right, that my cruelty caused her to miscarry. I told him that was a grossly unfair accusation and reminded him that at mom's age, it was quite common to miscarry. Then I walked out. I'm so done with my parents and their stupidity. I can only hope they won't try for another kid. Ops parents are crazy. I understand their beliefs, okay, but if it is your gift, why would you throw your precious gift on your daughter over and over again? Your daughter is not a gift anymore. How does it work? I don't get it really. It's great OP ran away from there, and I hope her siblings won't tolerate their parents' demands and will do what OP had done. Past. M. Mom SD. Stepdad D. Daddy SM. Entitled Stepmom Me. Me little bit of backstory. My stepmother and I never got along from day one, especially when she turned into a more and more ESM as I got into my later teenage years and was the reason I moved out of my father's house to live full-time with mom, despite their custody agreement. Details aren't important, but the list is a hefty one. The important one for this account is snooping. ESM has to stick her nose in my life, room, car, job, health, etc. to a comical degree. She has also done some pretty pointlessly petty things like giving me a false key to her and my dad's house when it got rekeyed for reasons I still don't understand. This is also important. On to the most recent ESM moment that happened on 8/11/2020. Phone call from ESM to me. I want a key to your house when it closes. No. What? No. You will give me a key or a fake key. You weren't specific. A real key to the house, and why would I do that, given your track record? Because I'm your parent. Quit being flippant. I don't see what's so funny me. I'm asking for a key, and I will get one. Asking? ESM, you are demanding a key of your 25-year-old stepson who owes you nothing. Oh yeah. I'll want my dresser back too, as we agreed upon all those years ago. I'm not giving you the dresser back, unless you give me a key. So you're going to steal from me because the dresser couldn't make it up the stairs, and you are throwing a fit because I won't let you snoop. Young man. You have a history of making poor choices and it's my job to correct them. I couldn't do it while you were in Ohio, and now that you're back I will get you back on the straight and narrow. I should point out that my poor choices involved eating in my room while doing homework, watching TV with my girlfriend when I was a teenager, and not going to bed by 10 p.m. She's a nutty conservative Christian woman who gets mad at me for anything that isn't in her micron-sized list of appropriate actions for me. You won't be getting a key, and because of you, D won't likely get one because you can't be trusted. And ended the call. Not 5 minutes later, my M and SD are rolling on the floor laughing because she had called them, demanding that they talk some sense into me and make me give her a key. Neither my mother nor stepfather can stand my ESM. Here's where she truly shines for the ESM though, rather than just being demanding and a snoop. It happened the following day on 8/12/2020. It's important to note I'm high on painkillers after my back spasm sent me face first into the floor from their strength. Hey me, have you thought about giving me a key? Nah. You don't get one. Even for your favorite step-parent. I like cat crap more than I like you. Fine. You will lose your car. I forbid you from driving, and I'll expect your keys tonight. You want to take the keys to a car you don't own or pay anything on because you won't take no for an answer. I am your parent. I hung up after she started yelling. She showed up at my mother's house 10 minutes later demanding my keys to my car because she was revoking her permission for me to drive, and we had to call our neighbor, the off-duty cop, to come over and speak to her. I wouldn't be surprised if she tried to put a lien on my car. More insane things have happened. It's so bad that my dad is agreeing that he shouldn't get a key but won't leave her because of her usual entitled behavior. This is just the most recent in a long list of this kind of behavior. Well, that's funny. I bet all my bananas it's not over. That woman sounds so entitled she would probably do more crazy things for all of them in future. I just hope OP and her entire family won't be hurt or something. Well guys, that's it for today. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing, and if you missed the last episode on the channel, I'm gonna link it right here. The story is about a pregnant woman who OP let into her house with her kid, but oh boy, she regretted this. Check this out if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video.